Hello, I'm Mark Hammett, minister of the Weber Road Church of Christ in Corpus Christi, Texas. We truly have a beautiful city, great place to live, and I hope that our invitation to you to join us for our Bible classes and/or worship is accepted by you. Every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. we have Bible classes for all ages. We also have a worship assembly at 10 a.m. And then on Wednesday nights, we have Bible classes for all ages. And maybe you can't be here in person for some reason, but we know there are many also that are able to view at least our adult Bible classes and teen Bible classes that are streamed. And also our worship assembly and Wednesday night Bible class is also streamed. You can go to our Facebook page. That's the Weber Road Church of Christ. Excuse me, or you can go to our YouTube channel. You can also view those on our church website. You can find these daily devotional and Bible readings on my personal Facebook page or YouTube channel, as well as our church Facebook page and website. I hope that you'll turn to Genesis 22. Genesis 22 is where our reading will come from in just a few moments. A man once said, all sorts of things are tested to prove that they are genuine. Think about how true that is. When you go to the bank and you give the cashier a $50 bill, that cashier may often write on that bill with a special pen or maybe hold it up to the light to look for a watermark. And the reason they do that, they want to make sure that it is genuine and not counterfeit. When you go to the pharmacy and you purchase a prescription drug, you probably trust that drug because you believe that it has been tested to be effective and safe for you to take. When you buy a car, you believe it's safe because car companies are required to test them. The Army and all military branches, they ask their soldiers to go through basic training. It doesn't mean they're perfectly ready for battle in all cases. It's not until those soldiers have maybe faced the enemy till they consider themselves proven, hardened, and worthy. A ship that's been well built isn't known until it actually hits the water to make sure that it's seaworthy. You think about putting your child in a car seat. Again, you trust that car seat because you know that it has been tested to be able to keep your infant or your young child very safe. You know, we expect, again, things that have value to be tested in some way. The more important something is, the more we rely on it being safe and valuable, and the more rigorous the testing hopefully is. And so here we have Abraham. Abraham's a great man of faith, and he is actually chosen by God. God wants Abraham to serve a special, critical role, even in our salvation. For you see, Abraham was not just chosen to become the foundation of a great nation, but he is selected by God and serves as an example for God's people. And again, even for us today, he's a role model of what faith is supposed to look like. When we fail, we find Abraham making things right and serving God always. And there are a lot of good lessons in the life of Abraham. Well, this is really the most crucial assignment any man could ever receive from God, the one that Abraham received, because Abraham's faith was put to a rigorous testing process, and God himself arranged it. Now, what kind of test was this? We're going to find out in Genesis chapter 22. Starting in verse 1 from the English Standard Version. We find these words. After these things, God tested Abraham and said to him, Abraham, and he said, Here I am. He said, Take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains which I shall tell you. So Abraham rose early in the morning, saddled his donkey, and took two of his young men with him, and also his son Isaac. And he cut the wood for the burnt offering and arose and went to the place of which God had told him. On the third day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place from afar. Then Abraham said to his young man, Stay here with the donkey, and I and the boy will go over there and worship and come to you again. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it on his son Isaac. And he took in his hand fire and the knife, and so they both went together. And Isaac said to his father Abraham, "My father." He said, "Here I am, my son." He said, "Behold, the fire and the wood are here, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering?" Abraham said, "God will provide for himself the lamb for a burnt offering, my son." So they went both of them together. And when they came to the place of which God had told him, Abraham built the altar and there laid the wood in order and bound Isaac his son and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. And then Abraham reached out his hand and took the knife to slaughter his son. But the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven and said, "Abraham, Abraham." And he said, "Here I am." And he said, "Do not lay your hand on the boy or do anything to him, for now I know that you fear God, seeing you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me." And Abraham lifted his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him was a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered it up as a burnt offering instead of his son. So Abraham called the name of that place, "The Lord will provide." As it is said to this day, "On the mount of the Lord it shall be provided." And the angel of the Lord called to Abraham a second time from heaven and said, "By myself I have sworn, declares the Lord, because you have done this and have not withheld your son, your only son. I will surely bless you, and I will surely multiply your offspring as the stars of heaven and as the sand that is on the seashore, and your offspring shall possess the gate of his enemies. And in your offspring shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice." So Abraham returned to his young men, and they arose and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham lived in Beersheba. Again, Abraham was tested, and his faith was genuine. And through all the testing you go through in your life, please let your faith be genuine. And may the Lord bless you richly as you seek to follow his will.